Good day, you're watching me on the test drive, and hopefully you can see what we're driving today. This is a 2025 Kia Sportage. This is the plug-in hybrid, the top of the line in the Sportage range. Kia redesigned this Sportage, I don't know, a couple years ago. We saw it at the auto show, thought it looked pretty good, and it is a hot seller. But this plug-in hybrid is pretty unique. The number one car that comes to mind is the Toyota RAV4 Prime that this competes with, but they have taken a completely different approach to the plug-in hybrid drivetrain. Now this one right here, this is the top of the line. This is the X-Trim Prestige, has all the bells and whistles on it. This one's coming in at right around 46,000. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into sport mode. 2025 Kia Sportage plug-in hybrid. Let's go. But this is where it all starts from some uniqueness. It is a heavy hood, 1.6 liter turbo engine. This one's putting out about 170 some horsepower. I do like this 1.6 turbo. It's in across the Kia and the Hyundai lineup. And what they do is they take a single electric motor up here on the front. It's producing about 90 horsepower. So when you combine all that together, this is the fastest Sportage in the lineup. It's like 271 horsepower, a couple hundred pounds of torque. I'll put those numbers up here. And something to consider or think about is that 90 horsepower electric motor. When you are in electric mode, it's only 90 horsepower. Okay, we do have some electric range. So I'm going to put it in electric mode. And this is where, well, let's just hit it. It's pokey. That's all I can say. Now, if I do really hit it, and I do need to escape, that gas motor will come on. You check your oil right here, pretty straight up. Washer fluid here, air intake there for the turbo, and all of your electrical goodies over there. You know, I forgot to mention the most important or most interesting thing about this hybrid drivetrain, and that this is running through a conventional 6-speed automatic transmission. So again, all that stuff combined, it creates a rather unique driving experience where it will shift through the gears, but it will also hold gears and rev the engine so that you can get some of that battery oomph also. Now, I have always liked the Kia key fob here, very sturdy, got lock on the side, unlock here. Now this one also has a self start. You can hold that there, it will remote start, which is kind of nice. And this also does have park assist. It will back up. Well, let's take it forward. It's a little slow to get this whole thing going. Yeah, so if you're in a tight spot, I can see me in my garage not being able to get out sometimes with all the junk in there. But I would really love to know, if you own one of these, do you use park assist? Now, fully keyless, but you do have to hit these buttons to lock and unlock. Step in height's pretty good, pretty easy there. You do step up just a tad. Now here in the driver's seat, put your foot on the brake, hit your engine stop button right down here. Get some nice pleasant chimes. Service required, and 29 miles. So starting down here, this is where you have your gear selector: drive, neutral, reverse. Not a fan, but it doesn't annoy me too much. And your park is right in the middle there. Your drive modes are down here. We have Eco, Sport, Smart, Snow. Snow has come in handy this week. Pretty much going to leave this in smart mode most of the time. Down here is where I can choose whether I want to be in hybrid mode, or if I do have charge on the battery, I can hit EV down there. I have my surround view camera, again part of this high trim level here. My park assist, this basically tells me that it is available. auto hold right here if I'm in traffic, and a very nice downhill control there. I also can do a center lock to distribute power equally to the back wheels in trickier, slippery situations. This is all-wheel drive, I should mention. Over here is all my phone control, volume control, changing the stations, things like that. Over here I have all my cruise control, my lane centering. If I want to turn that on, we'll demonstrate that on the highway. I do have adaptive cruise control, so this will set my distance on, off. But here I also have my menu for what I put in the middle of this very nice digital instrument cluster. You can see it cycling across the top there, but once I get one of those, like on the car, then I just cycle down through all the different options of what I would like to display. Very nice clear instrument cluster. It will change. It will give me a tachometer instead of that charge meter. I do have paddle shifters on my steering wheel. Nice leather here. I should mention that this is also heated, but we'll talk about features in a little bit. And I also have all my wiper control here. One nice little touch with Kia and I think Hyundai's is I love how it tells you what you're doing with your wipers. Low, high, auto right there versus you having to, what the heck am I doing? I'm looking down here. So that's kind of nice. Even if I turn on my rear ones, it'll tell me what mode I'm in. Same thing with my headlight controls over here, kind of like that. You can see auto showing up down here. It tells you what I'm doing with my headlights, which is very nice. We do have rain sensing wipers. We also have auto high beams. Dimming control there, my rear hatch, my fuel door, my traction control, and my parking brake. All right, and I do have it in reverse here. As you can see, here is my reverse camera. Very nice with the bird's eye view. Now, one thing I will point out is the turning radius of this is maybe slightly larger, maybe a foot or so larger than some of the competition. So I have noticed myself backing up and going forward a couple times to get out of some tight spots. Kia Telluride there. And a great color. That looks fantastic. As we make our way down to our uphill dig, I do want to give a big hearty thank you for pressing play. If you're new to Beyond the Test Drive, check out all of our content. If you like car reviews where the car is the center of attention, definitely give us a subscribe. I have kept it in hybrid mode. That's very nice. And I have maintained my 17 miles of all electric range, which is about half of the battery. We do have some traffic coming this way. I need to put my front defroster on. Getting a little foggy in here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave it in smart mode and just hit it. It is pretty slick. Oh, traction control. Yeah, 60. Not a slow car at all, and that all-wheel drive system definitely helped me get out of that slick turn with full throttle. Now, a couple other unique things about this plug-in hybrid drivetrain I've noticed is that even in EV mode with a full charge on the battery, which again is 30-some miles of range, on cold mornings, the gas motor will come on just to sort of heat the cabin. You do need the gas motor to provide heat. So I've noticed that coming on in the morning. The other thing I've discovered inadvertently is the charger. You do have to set the current on the charger. The first night I had it at 6 amps and it was never gonna charge. It was like 20 some hours to charge this battery. You can manually switch it over to 12 amps and that gives you that 11-hour charge time. When you're on a level 2, 240, it takes just a couple hours. So that's really the ideal way to do this car. Now here on ride comfort, coming over some bumps, it's a very comfortable ride. It is soft, and the only time I've noticed is when you got a lot of bumps and you got all four wheels going over bumps at the same time, it will get a little unsettled. I've also found the suspension a little on the noisy side on bumpy, real bumpy pavement. But overall, this car is creak and rattle free. It is solid. It's got 7,600 miles on it, so that's a good sign. All right, let's bring it all together here. And I would say one of the best things about this system is that the transitions between turning the engine on and turning it back off again are really smooth. And sometimes it's really hard to even know And it is zippy. Like, again, you're not going to hit the gas and jump. It takes a while for things to get going, but it's pretty zippy once it does. And when the engine does come on and even revs out, it sounds great. It's got a nice little bassy sort of roar to it that's kind of far away, because they do have this engine so isolated and quiet. So again, sometimes I've had to go, is the engine even running? It's hard to hear. So only when you really get on it does it sort of wake up and you start to hear it. So yeah, I'm going to give them big kudos for just making this system completely seamless. You get really, if you like normal transmission shifts, however, it will rev the engine again to get that power coming from the electric motor. And that is one of the screens I do like right here. So just kind of see right there, I'm kind of drifting down, charging up the battery, and I can just get on the throttle a little bit and you can see the battery is sending power. And if I really get on it, then the motor comes on, the battery and the gas motor are sending power. And I also have, yeah, this screen right here will tell you how much power is being sent to those rear wheels. And it does a good job of sending that power back. And here's another little tricky wet spot to get going. Just go ahead and punch it. Now, as you do have regenerative braking, of course, there is no adjustment as far as the strength of that. There's no one pedal driving. There's no way to change that. And even though the braking is fine, it does pull this down. I find the brake pedal very inconsistent. It can be a little grabby sometimes. Again, that little transition between regenerative and mechanical braking. I'll go ahead and hit them hard up here. But it does pull it down. It's just the brake pedal is a little soft. It's a little hard to modulate, and there's not a lot of nosedive, so definitely appreciate that. Now, even though I have fully charged this a couple times, I've never gotten the full range this week on electric mode. I've gotten maybe 29 to 30 in some colder temperatures, so all in all, not too bad. But yeah, you can zip along at any speed, but if I do need some hustle, there it is. There's the gas motor, so I do like that. So all in all, it works really well. Again, it's just pokey in EV mode. Now, let me go ahead and put it back to sport. It will tighten up the steering just a little. And this is not a car you're gonna hustle through the turns. The steering is, man, it's decently quick, but it's awfully artificial feeling. It's got a big rubbery feeling to it. As you go into turns, it will tend to plow on you and understeer significantly, but it's not something you're going to do with your Kia Sportage, so it's not intended to be a canyon carver at all. But man, it's peppy. I would like a little better handling out of this, and this would be pretty fun. But as it is right now, the handling is just, it's fine for 99% of the time. It's confident. A little bit of body roll, not atrocious. And as we make our left here, you'll see our blind spot camera down in the left spot. And of course, if I was going to turn right here, you'd see the blind spot on that side. So a nice little touch that you'll see on Kia products. So I am going to paddle shift . You're not gonna use them. The only time the paddle shifters would be useful is if you're trying to engine brake down steep grades or in some really bad weather and you're trying to get down a hill. The engine braking would come in handy, but they're pretty slow. They're there if you need them, but you're not going to use them most of the time. You're really not going to find a more spacious crossover, and it starts in the storage back here. We do not have any type of spare. We do have a fix-a-flat kit back here stored up under there, but very nice. I think it's almost 40 cubic feet back there. I'll put up the numbers. 12 volt right here, nice lighting back here, and you can see one of your speakers here, and you can see there could be a cargo cover. Don't really like those too much, but let's go ahead and put those seats down. Some big old levers right here. There we go. Now if you want to put these seats up, there is a lever right here, and that lever also controls the angle. Let's go ahead and hop in the back. We do have sort of this sagey grayish green color in here. It looks pretty good. Have great leg room, nice place for your passengers. You see your USB-Cs on each side, some hooks there, your own vents. You get some nice light coming in from this really nice glass roof. You get some place here to hook things on. It's kind of unique here. So yeah, pretty nice back here. The only thing this one is missing is these seats are not heated. Now over here on the passenger side of the vehicle is where your charge port is. See that right there. Now we have two-way lumbar, we have front, forward, up and down, pretty basic power controls on the seat. We do have two-seat memory there. All of your window switch gear is down here. We do have a very good, excellent sounding Harman Kardon system in this Sportage for our Canadian folks, and we do have these nice big chunky pulls. Definitely appreciated those this week. We do have just a manual old dimming rear view mirror, which is kind of surprising, but we do get nice LED lighting in here. You do have to turn on your pretty dingy old yellow light for your vanity, but if you push that up, it'll turn it off. Kind of interesting little thing there. Do these extend? Yes, they do. Some other nice features here. We do have heated seats, right? Your passenger and your driver is there. They are also ventilated, and we have a heated steering wheel. This whole console here, this is definitely a different take on your controls. You can see I have two cup holders here. I can fold those up and get a nice big area to just throw a lot of stuff. And I also have the center, pretty decent storage spot there. Let me put the cup there, push that button, and it turns into a cup holder. Wireless charger down here. Not a big fan of the piano black. I can't imagine anybody likes this piano black around here, but all in all, this is pretty interesting. It's easy to use and have enjoyed it this week. We do have a wireless charger down here, USB-A, USB-C, USB-A here, and a 12 volt. There is no wireless Apple CarPlay in this $46,000 car. It's something to do with the navigation. I don't know why. You just never know, but it just seems like a basic feature now that you just don't get at this price point, which is odd. You do get this that closes up nice, makes it nice and neat, but more piano black. Now we do have a interesting climate control and audio control here along that. This is basically a touchscreen with two dials. Volume right now, but if I hit that, it turns into my climate control. I'm not going to complain about it. It's okay. I generally leave this on climate control and then operate the stereo system and all the other stuff through the screen and on here. It's not bad to use. I just don't know why. Why is it like this? It works fine, but why? Kia has some really nice simple controls in some of their other models. I'm thinking of things like the Telluride. I guess this is just to show what they can do. It's just overly complex for no reason. Kia has excellent infotainment system. We won't deep dive this too much, but it's a pretty good system, easy to use, nice big screen. This looks all really good there. All right, 15 miles of range. Here we go, up on the highway in electric mode. Can I get it to 70 in electric mode? Alright. Here we go. I'm just going to get the engine on. Alright, there we go. Alright, electric mode on the highway. Just pretty much hybrid mode. It'll still bring on that gas motor to keep you at speed. Now I did measure the other day when it wasn't raining and it was nice and quiet. about 69 dBs in here. Road noise great on these Michelins. The suspension definitely keeps road noise at bay. There is wind noise, so most of the sound you're going to hear in here is wind noise. Stereo system sounds great. I'm not going to demo it, but most people will be extremely happy with the Harman Kardon sound in here. Very comfortable seats with the lumbar, good visibility, great safety, great cruise control, great trip car. Now let's just talk about fuel economy. This is rated a little less overall when it's in hybrid mode than the actual hybrid. This is coming in at like 35 mpg on average, but I'll put those fuel economy numbers up there. So it's, you know, whether it's going to save you money over the hybrid, probably not. But if you're just doing that charging all the time, running your errands, yes, you'll save some gas money. Now the question would become whether you should jump up to this plug-in hybrid over the hybrid. Yes, this is quicker, slightly, but given the fact that this is not intended to be a sporty driving car, I think the power of the hybrid is just fine. It really comes down to whether your use case would support you plugging it in. You like to drive silently without burning gas. You don't mind paying the extra money for the car to begin with, and you like the technology. You like this type of future when it comes to battery plug-in hybrids. Let's put this in park. It's raining. Let's take one more look. Again, pretty sharp look. If you have any questions at all about this, leave those down below. If you own a Kia, you own a Sportage, or you own this plug-in hybrid, we would love to hear about your experience. We really do appreciate you coming along on this wet, dreary day. And as always, have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be.